There comes a moment in life when you've held on for so long that your knuckles ache, your heart is tired, and your soul whispers a truth you've been afraid to hear. You're not losing by letting go, you're freeing yourself to receive. You've chased, begged, tried, forced, and yet the harder you clenched your fist, the further the thing you wanted seemed to slip away. You thought control was power, but real power is knowing when to release. Life isn't a rope you pull to bring things closer. It's an ocean, and the more you thrash, the more you sink. But if you let yourself float, the current will carry you exactly where you are meant to be. Letting go is not giving up. Letting go is not quitting. Letting go is choosing peace over chaos, truth over illusion, and trust over fear. It's the art of loosening your grip on what you think must be, so your hands are open to receive what's truly meant to be. We suffer most when we demand that life unfolds on our timeline. We suffer when we try to bend reality to match our expectations. We suffer when we fight the flow of what already is. The world does not bow to our demands. It moves according to deeper laws, laws of timing, alignment, and readiness. You may think you're ready now. You may feel you've done enough, waited enough, prayed enough. But perhaps you're not meant to have yet. You're meant to become first. And becoming takes patience, and patience takes surrender. The irony is almost cruel. The moment you truly stop chasing is often the moment what you chase turns toward you. It's not magic, it's clarity. Release is often misunderstood as weakness, as though by letting go you are admitting defeat, surrendering your will, or proving you were never strong enough to hold on in the first place. But the truth is the opposite. Release is one of the highest forms of strength a human can possess. It is easy to cling. It is easy to fight tooth and nail for something, even when it's breaking you. It is easy to chain yourself to an idea, a person, or an outcome because it's familiar, because it feels safer to suffer with what you know than to face the unknown. But release, that takes courage. Release is standing in the face of uncertainty and saying, I choose peace over the illusion of control. It's recognizing that your worth is not measured by how tightly you can hold on, but by how gracefully you can let go when holding on is no longer serving you. Holding on can feel like strength because it demands effort, persistence, and endurance. But if the rope you're holding is dragging you into the fire, no one calls it courage to keep your grip. They call it wisdom to let go. Real strength is the wisdom to know when a battle is no longer worth the wounds. It's the ability to trust that by releasing your grip, you're not losing everything. You're making space for something better to arrive. There is a false heroism in never letting go, as though letting go means you didn't care enough or fight hard enough. But strength is not proven by how long you can endure pain. It's proven by your ability to choose your own well-being over the false hope that suffering will somehow turn into joy. Release is not passive, it is intentional. It is you reclaiming your energy from what drains you, your focus from what distracts you, and your heart from what cannot or will not meet you with the same depth. Releasing does not mean you erase the love, the lessons, or the memories. It means you no longer allow them to chain you to a moment in time that has already passed. Strength is knowing that your story doesn't end because a chapter does. And it's having the courage to turn the page without knowing exactly what the next one holds. When you release, you confront fear head on. You look at the empty space where that relationship, that dream, that certainty used to be, and instead of running from it, you stand there. You breathe, you trust that space will be filled with something that aligns with who you are now, not who you were when you first grabbed hold. The strongest people you will ever meet are not those who have clung the longest, but those who have mastered the art of letting go without bitterness. They don't let go because they don't care. They let go because they do care deeply about their peace, their purpose, and their future. Release is a statement of self-respect. It's you saying, I am not defined by what stays or goes. I am whole regardless. Strength is not in the grip, it's in the opening of the hand, in the trust that what is meant will remain, and what leaves was never truly yours to keep. The world will try to tell you that winners never quit, but the truth is, winners quit the wrong things all the time. They quit the battles that drain them without reward. They quit the toxic patterns that keep them stuck. They quit the need to control the uncontrollable. They release because they understand that strength is about building, not binding. If you want to grow, you cannot carry dead weight forever. If you want to heal, you cannot keep pressing on the wound. If you want to receive, your hands cannot be full of what is no longer serving you. Releasing is how you move from survival to freedom. It is not an admission of defeat. It is a declaration that you will no longer fight battles that steal your peace, your joy, and your clarity. That is strength. And that strength will always lead you closer to the life you were meant to live. There is a deep, unshakable freedom that comes when you stop trying to control the clock of your life and start trusting its timing. For most of us, impatience is a silent prison. We live in constant restlessness, counting the minutes, comparing our chapter to someone else's, feeling like every delay is a punishment and every detour is a mistake. We convince ourselves that the sooner we get there, the better life will be, but life is not a race to the finish line. It's not meant to be rushed or manipulated into our idea of perfect timing. Life has its own rhythm, its own unfolding, and the moment you align yourself with that rhythm, you feel the weight lift. You stop forcing doors to open and start noticing the ones that swing wide without effort. You stop exhausting yourself trying to drag the future into the present, and instead learn to live in the present without fear of the future. Trusting life's timing is an act of humility. It is admitting that no matter how much you plan, work, and prepare, there are forces at play far greater than your schedule. It's accepting that some seasons are for planting, some for growing, and some for harvesting, and you cannot skip one without losing the beauty of the others. Impatience will always whisper, if it hasn't happened yet, it never will. But patience rooted in trust says, if it's meant for me, nothing can stop it, and if it's not, no amount of forcing will make it mine. That is freedom. The freedom from panic, from comparison, from the constant need to prove you are on time by someone else's standard. You begin to see that delays are not denials, they are preparation. You understand that when life makes you wait, it is often aligning circumstances, people, and opportunities so that when the moment arrives, it doesn't just appear, it fits perfectly. Trusting timing doesn't mean you stop moving forward. It means you move forward without the anxiety of needing everything now. It means you can work diligently toward your goals while releasing the desperate need for immediate results. It means you don't quit just because the finish line isn't in sight yet, and it means you stop resenting the process and start embracing it. When you trust timing, you realize you are never truly late. You may arrive later than you planned, but you will arrive right when you are ready. The job you didn't get may have been protection. The relationship that didn't work out may have saved you from years of pain. The season of waiting may have built a version of you that is finally ready to hold what you once would have fumbled. Life's timing is often invisible in the moment, but obvious in hindsight. And the more you practice trusting it, the more you notice how often you are spared from settling for less because something greater was on the way. The freedom in this trust is that you no longer live in fear of missing out. You understand that what is yours cannot be stolen, and what is not yours cannot be forced to stay. You stop chasing things that run from you and start walking toward what flows naturally toward you. You stop blaming yourself for every closed door and start thanking life for the ones that didn't open. This freedom also changes the way you handle other people's journeys. When you trust timing, you no longer feel threatened by someone else's success. You can celebrate their wins without feeling like their moment has stolen yours. You can be genuinely happy for others because you know your moment will come at the right time, in the right way, and nothing they achieve changes that. Most importantly, trusting timing allows you to live fully in the now. You stop rushing through your days just to reach the real, a life you think is waiting in the future. You realize that this moment, right now, is just as much a part of your story as the ones you dream about. You savor the small victories, the quiet mornings, the lessons learned in struggle, because you understand they are not obstacles to your destination. They are the very things shaping you for it. The freedom in trusting life's timing is a kind of peace you can't buy or fake. It's a quiet confidence that says, I am exactly where I'm supposed to be, and I will be exactly where I'm meant to go when it's time. And that peace frees you to stop grasping, stop worrying, and start living, not in the future, not in the past, but right here, right now. That is where life truly happens. You can't receive with closed hands, yet so many of us go through life clinging to what we have, whether it's a relationship, a belief, a plan, or a version of ourselves, afraid that if we let go, we'll end up with nothing. But the truth is, closed hands can't hold anything new. They can't welcome blessings, they can't embrace opportunities, and they can't accept the gifts life is trying to give. We often think we're protecting ourselves by holding tight, but in reality, we're shutting ourselves off from growth. When you hold on too tightly, you send a message to life that you don't trust it to give you more. You operate from fear, fear of loss, fear of change, fear of emptiness, and fear narrows your vision. You can't see the better opportunities standing right in front of you because your eyes are fixed on what you might lose. You forget that sometimes what you're gripping so hard is actually the very thing blocking what you truly need. The problem is we confuse possession with security. We think as long as something is in our hands, we're safe, but not everything we hold is meant to be kept. Some things are meant to teach us, shape us, and then move on. And if you refuse to let them go, you end up carrying dead weight into seasons that require your hands to be light and open. Imagine trying to climb a mountain with both hands full. You can't grab the next ledge. You can't steady yourself. You're stuck, not because there's no way forward, but because you refuse to put down what you're holding. Life works the same way. If you want to move higher, you have to release what keeps you grounded in the past. Opening your hands is not weakness, it's faith. It's saying, I trust that what is meant for me will stay, and what leaves is making space for something greater. And here's the thing, when your hands are open, you don't just receive, you also give. You share your time, your love, your resources without fear that they'll run out, because you know they will return in some form. The flow of life is give and take, release and receive. Holding on too tightly breaks that flow. You can't inhale without exhaling first. You can't pour water into a cup that's already full, and you can't welcome new blessings while clinging to what no longer serves you. Many of us pray for change, but refuse to let go of the very things keeping us stuck. We ask for new love while holding on to old heartbreak. We ask for new opportunities while refusing to step away from the comfortable but stagnant situations we've outgrown. We ask for peace but keep entertaining chaos. Life cannot fill what you refuse to empty, and the truth is, the more you resist letting go, the more life will find ways to pry your hands open, sometimes gently, sometimes painfully. When you finally open your hands, you may notice something surprising. What you feared losing wasn't as essential as you thought, and what arrives to take its place often fits better than what you were holding. Sometimes it's more joy, sometimes it's a lesson, Sometimes it's a deeper sense of self-worth, but it's always something that moves you forward. The shift happens when you realize that open hands are not empty, they are ready. Ready for love that's healthy, not just familiar. Ready for opportunities that challenge and grow you, not just keep you busy. Ready for peace that feels like home, not just quiet between storms. The courage to open your hands starts with one small release. Maybe it's a toxic habit. Maybe it's a friendship that's become one-sided. Maybe it's the belief that you're not enough. Every time you release something that no longer serves you, you make room for something that will. And once you've experienced that exchange, once you've felt the relief of letting go and the joy of receiving, you'll understand that open hands are not a risk. They are your greatest strength, because in the end, nothing that is truly yours will ever require you to cling in fear. It will fit naturally, rest easily, and remain without force, but you will only be able to hold it if you first have the courage to let go. Peace comes before the breakthrough, though most of us expect it the other way around. We think that once the answer arrives, once the door opens, once the opportunity appears, then we'll feel calm. We believe peace is the reward for getting what we want, but in truth, peace is often the doorway through which the breakthrough comes. If you're constantly in a state of inner chaos, if your mind is filled with panic and your heart is weighed down with fear, you're not in the place where clarity can reach you. Breakthroughs rarely happen in the noise, they arrive in the stillness. That's because peace clears the fog. It allows you to see possibilities you couldn't see when you were frantically searching for them. It's like standing in a storm and trying to spot the path forward. You can't. But when the winds calm, the way reveals itself. Too many people wait for circumstances to settle before they decide to calm themselves. But life rarely grants that gift on its own. You have to choose peace in the middle of the uncertainty. You have to anchor yourself before you see the shore. This is not about pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about refusing to let the storm inside you be bigger than the storm outside you. Peace is not passivity. It's not sitting back and doing nothing. It's a state of mind where you stop fighting what is and start moving with it. It's a strength that says, I can face this without falling apart. When you find that place, you stop making desperate decisions. You stop chasing quick fixes. You stop accepting less than you deserve just to ease the tension. Peace allows you to move with intention instead of impulse. And when you do that, you naturally align yourself with the opportunities and people that will lead to your breakthrough. Think about the times you've made your best decisions. They weren't made in panic. They came when you felt grounded, when you weren't grasping for control, when you had enough mental space to see the bigger picture. That's why peace is not a luxury, it's a strategy. It puts you in the mental and emotional state where the right doors can appear and where you can recognize them when they do. Many people miss their breakthrough because they're too consumed with anxiety to notice it. They're so focused on what's going wrong that they can't see what's going right. But peace shifts your focus. It reminds you that the future isn't built by fear, it's built by steady, consistent steps taken with a clear mind and an open heart. Peace also changes how you handle setbacks on the way to your breakthrough. Instead of crumbling when things don't work out, you adjust. Instead of taking rejection as proof you're not worthy, you see it as redirection. That mindset keeps you in motion, and motion is what leads to transformation. The irony is that when you stop obsessing over the breakthrough, you actually get there faster. You're no longer trying to force things on your timeline. You're working in rhythm with the flow of life. And life has a way of delivering exactly what you need when you stop trying to wrestle it into submission. Your peace is the signal that you're ready. It says to life, I am no longer chasing, I am ready to receive. And when you get to that place, the things you've been longing for start to find their way to you. sometimes suddenly, sometimes quietly, but always right on time. So don't wait for your breakthrough to breathe easier. Breathe easier now. Don't wait for everything to fall into place to feel at peace. Feel at peace now, and watch as things start to fall into place, because peace isn't the prize at the end of the road. It's the ground beneath your feet that carries you there, and when you stand on it, you are already closer to your breakthrough than you think. The space you fear is where blessings live, but most people run from it. That space feels like emptiness, like loss, like the uncomfortable silence after something ends. It's the gap between what you've released and what has yet to arrive. And because we're creatures of habit, we panic when we enter it. We rush to fill it with anything, old habits, familiar chaos, temporary distractions, just so we don't have to feel the void. But the truth is that space is not a punishment, it's an invitation. It's the fertile ground where the seeds of your next chapter can take root. The reason it feels so unsettling is because it's unfamiliar. We've been taught to equate fullness with safety, to believe that if our hands, schedules, and hearts are packed, we're doing well. But blessings don't always arrive in the middle of busyness. More often, they find you in stillness, when there's room for them to land. The space you fear is not the end. It's the preparation. It's the season where old pieces are falling away so that what's meant for you has somewhere to fit. If you cling to what you've outgrown just to avoid emptiness, you block the very thing you've been praying for. It's like trying to welcome a guest into a room that's already overflowing with clutter. There's no space for them to enter. In life, that clutter is often our old pain, outdated dreams, or relationships that no longer serve us. The problem is, we think the space is the danger, when in reality, the clutter is, because the clutter keeps you tied to the past, while the space is where the future breathes. The space feels vulnerable because it demands trust. You have to believe that even without something to hold on to right now, you're not lost. You have to walk into it without guarantees, without proof, without control. And that's why so many people avoid it. They don't want to face themselves in the quiet. But here's the paradox. Until you can stand in that space without fear, you're not ready for the blessing, because blessings require capacity. If your heart is crowded with old wounds, you won't recognize love when it shows up. If your mind is packed with limiting beliefs, you won't step into the opportunities that come your way. If your hands are holding yesterday's burdens, you won't have the strength to carry tomorrow's gifts. The space you fear is the pause before the arrival. It's where alignment happens. It's where you learn patience, resilience, and clarity. In that space, you're not being forgotten, you're being prepared. Sometimes life removes what you thought you needed just so it can give you what you actually need. And it can only happen in the emptiness where there's no noise, no distractions, and no old pieces taking up room. The emptiness is not a void, it's potential. It's the canvas before the painting, the soil before the bloom, the silence before the song. It may feel like nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, everything is. And when the blessing arrives, you'll see why the space was necessary. You'll understand that if you had filled it too quickly, you would have settled. You would have accepted less than what was meant for you. But by enduring it, you gave yourself the chance to receive something that fits who you've become, not just who you used to be. So don't rush to escape the space. Sit in it, breathe in it, let it stretch you. Let it strip away what you no longer need, because on the other side of it is not just the blessing. It's a you that is ready to hold it without fear of losing it. And when that moment comes, you'll realize the space you once dreaded was not a curse. It was the doorway to everything you were waiting for. And maybe that's the real reason the space you fear feels so intimidating, because it's too big for the old version of you. It's meant for the next version, the one you haven't fully met yet, the one who walks with greater faith, who's learned to lean on God in ways they never had to before. The one who doesn't just hope things will work out, but knows they will because they've seen too much of God's goodness to believe otherwise. You see, blessings don't live in the land of comfort. They live in the stretch, in the moments your knees are shaking, but your feet are still moving. They live in the places where you have no choice but to pray, no choice but to surrender, no choice but to grow. That's where God plants the kind of miracles that change your life forever. So if right now you're standing at the edge of something scary, something that makes your heart race and your mind try to talk you out of it, don't run away. Step in, because the enemy will always try to make the space that holds your blessing look like the space that will break you. But it's not there to break you, it's there to build you. It's there to shape you into someone who can carry what you've been praying for without dropping it. You've been asking God for more purpose, more peace, more provision. But more rarely comes in familiar packaging. It often comes disguised as a risk. It comes wrapped in discomfort. It shows up in the form of an opportunity you don't feel ready for, a conversation you've been avoiding, a leap that seems too wide. But if you trust Him enough to step into that space, you'll find that the same God who called you there will keep you there. So don't pray for comfort, pray for courage. Don't pray for the path to be easy, pray for your faith to be unshakable. Don't wait for fear to disappear before you move in spite of it. That's where the blessing lives. That's where the breakthrough hides. That's where your testimony begins. And one day, you'll look back on the space you feared and smile. Not because it wasn't hard, but because it was holy. Because it was the exact place God needed you to be for your prayers to be answered. Because you'll realize the space you feared was the space where heaven opened over your life. And you'll be able to tell someone else, don't run from it, step into it. That's where blessings live, and thanks for watching.